31. Tapa, which translates to self-control or austerity, is a concept found in various spiritual and philosophical traditions, including Hinduism and Buddhism. It involves the practice of disciplining one's desires, actions, and thoughts in order to cultivate inner strength, clarity, and spiritual growth. Tapa is often associated with leading a simple and disciplined life, characterized by moderation, renunciation, and inner purification. Tapa entails exercising self-control and discipline over one's desires, impulses, and behaviors. It involves restraining from indulgence in sensual pleasures, harmful habits, and unwholesome actions that lead to suffering and spiritual stagnation. Self-control enables individuals to cultivate inner strength, resilience, and mastery over their minds, and to live with integrity and purpose in alignment with their values and aspiration. Tapa involves practicing austerity and renunciation by voluntarily simplifying one's life and reducing dependence on material possessions and comforts. It may include renouncing excessive consumption, luxury, and distractions that divert attention from spiritual pursuits, and embracing a lifestyle of simplicity, frugality, and contentment. Austerity fosters detachment from worldly attachments and desires, and creates space for inner growth, reflection, and spiritual practice. Tapa is a means of inner purification and transformation, involving the purification of body, speech, and mind from defilements, impurities, and unwholesome habits. It entails cultivating virtuous qualities such as mindfulness, compassion, generosity, and patience, and overcoming unwholesome tendencies such as greed, hatred, and delusion. Inner purification through tapa leads to greater clarity, peace, and freedom from the causes of suffering, and paves the way for spiritual awakening and liberation. Tapa involves practicing mindful consumption and moderation in one's lifestyle choices, including food, clothing, shelter, and entertainment. It entails being mindful of the impact of one's choices on oneself, others, and the environment, and making conscious decisions that support well-being, sustainability, and harmony. Mindful consumption fosters a sense of gratitude, appreciation, and interconnectedness with the web of life, and promotes greater harmony and balance in one's relationship with oneself and the world. Tapa cultivates inner strength, resilience, and fortitude in the face of life's challenges and difficulties. It involves facing adversity, hardship, and discomfort with courage, equanimity, and perseverance, and using them as opportunities for growth, learning, and transformation. Cultivating inner strength through tapa enables individuals to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and dignity, and to respond to them with wisdom, compassion, and integrity. Overall, tapa embodies the principle of self-control, simplicity, and inner purification as a means of spiritual growth and liberation from suffering. By practicing tapa, individuals cultivate the qualities of discipline, austerity, and inner strength needed to overcome the obstacles to awakening and to realize their fullest potential as human beings. Tapa serves as a guiding principle for living with integrity, purpose, and mindfulness in harmony with oneself, others, and the world. 32. Brahmacharya, which translates to holy life or spiritual path, is a central concept in various spiritual traditions, including Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. It refers to a way of life characterized by celibacy, virtue, and spiritual pursuit, aimed at attaining higher states of consciousness, liberation, or enlightenment. Brahmacharya traditionally involves the practice of celibacy, or sexual restraint, abstaining from sexual activity outside the context of a committed relationship or for the purpose of procreation. Celibacy is seen as a means of conserving vital energy. and redirecting it towards spiritual pursuits, such as meditation, contemplation, and self-realization. By cultivating mastery over sexual desire, individuals harness their energy for inner transformation and spiritual growth. Brahmacharya emphasizes the cultivation of virtue and ethical conduct as foundational principles of the spiritual path. It entails living in accordance with ethical precepts and principles that promote harmony, integrity, and compassion in one's thoughts, speech, and actions. Virtue encompasses qualities such as honesty, integrity, kindness, and generosity, which serve as the foundation for spiritual practice and contribute to the well-being of oneself and others. Brahmacharya involves the practice of spiritual discipline and renunciation, which entails letting go of attachments to worldly pleasures, distractions, and desires that hinder spiritual progress. It may involve renouncing material possessions, comforts, and distractions in order to simplify one's life and focus on inner cultivation and realization. Spiritual discipline encompasses practices such as meditation, mindfulness, self-inquiry, and devotion, aimed at purifying the mind, heart, and spirit. Brahmacharya is guided by the quest for spiritual awakening, liberation, or enlightenment, which involves transcending the cycle of birth and death samsara and realizing one's true nature or divine essence. It entails seeking union with the divine, ultimate reality, or higher consciousness through contemplation, prayer, meditation, and self-realization practices. The path of Brahmacharya is a journey of self-discovery, inner transformation, and realization of the highest truth, leading to liberation from suffering and attainment of lasting peace and happiness. Brahmacharya encompasses the practice of service and compassion towards all beings, rooted in the understanding of the interconnectedness and interdependence of life. It entails cultivating a heart of loving kindness, compassion, and empathy towards oneself and others, and engaging in acts of selfless service and altruism that alleviate suffering and promote the welfare of all beings. Service and compassion are integral aspects of the Brahmacharya path, reflecting the universal principle of interconnectedness and the aspiration for the highest good of all. Overall, Brahmacharya represents a way of life characterized by celibacy, virtue, spiritual discipline, and compassionate service aimed at realizing the highest truth and attaining liberation from suffering. By following the path of Brahmacharya, individuals embark on a journey of self-transformation, inner purification, and spiritual awakening, leading to the realization of their highest potential and the attainment of lasting peace, happiness, and fulfillment. 33. Arya Satchidasana, which translates to discernment of the noble truths, is a fundamental aspect of the Buddhist path to liberation. Nibbana. The noble truths, Arya Satya, of the foundational teachings expounded by the Buddha, encapsulating the nature of existence, the causes of suffering, and the path to its cessation. Discerning and understanding these truths is considered essential for overcoming suffering and attaining enlightenment. The first noble truth is the truth of suffering dukkha, which encompasses the inherent unsatisfactoriness and dissatisfaction of worldly existence. Discernment of this truth involves recognizing the pervasive nature of suffering in various forms, including physical and mental pain, impermanence, and existential dissatisfaction. Understanding dukkha entails acknowledging the limitations and transient nature of worldly pleasures and pursuits, and recognizing the futility of seeking lasting happiness and fulfillment in external conditions. The second noble truth is the truth of the origin of suffering, samudaya, which identifies craving tanha and ignorance avijja as the root causes of suffering. Discernment of this truth involves recognizing the role of craving, attachment, and ignorance and clinging to desires and illusions, in perpetuating the cycle of suffering and dissatisfaction. Understanding samudaya entails investigating the nature of craving and ignorance within oneself, and recognizing their role in generating suffering and bondage to the cycle of birth and death samsara. The third noble truth is the truth of the cessation of suffering nirvana, which reveals the possibility of liberation from suffering through the cessation of craving and ignorance. Discernment of this truth involves realizing that suffering can be brought to an end by abandoning craving, attachment, and ignorance, and cultivating wisdom, virtue, and mental purification. Understanding nirvana entails experiencing moments of freedom from craving and suffering through the practice of mindfulness, meditation, and ethical conduct, and realizing the potential for lasting peace and liberation within oneself. The fourth noble truth is the truth of the path, leading to the cessation of suffering magga, which outlines the Noble Eightfold Path as the means to attain liberation. Discernment of this truth involves understanding the interconnected and interdependent nature of the Eightfold Path, which encompasses right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Understanding magga entails cultivating each aspect of the Eightfold Path with mindfulness, wisdom, and diligence, and realizing its transformative power in overcoming ignorance and craving, and attaining liberation from suffering. Overall, discernment of the noble truths is an essential aspect of the Buddhist path, guiding practitioners towards the realization of the causes of suffering, the possibility of its cessation, and the path to liberation. By discerning and understanding the noble truths, individuals gain insight into the nature of existence, the root causes of suffering, and the means to attain liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Discernment of the noble truths serves as a foundation for spiritual practice, wisdom, and liberation, leading to the realization of true happiness, peace, and freedom from suffering. 34. Nibbana Saccariya, which translates to realization of Nibbana, is the ultimate goal and culmination of the Buddhist spiritual path. Nibbana, Sanskrit, nirvana, is a profound state of liberation, peace, and cessation of suffering, described in Buddhist teachings as the highest happiness and ultimate reality. The realization of Nibbana marks the end of the cycle of birth and death samsara, and the attainment of enlightenment bodhi. Nibbana is described in Buddhist teachings as the state of ultimate peace, liberation, and cessation of suffering. It is characterized by the absence of craving, attachment, and ignorance, and the experience of unconditioned happiness, freedom, and bliss. Nibbana is beyond conceptualization and description, as it transcends the limitations of language and thought. It is the ultimate goal of the Buddhist spiritual path, representing the culmination of wisdom, virtue, and meditation practice. Nibbana is the cessation of suffering dukkha and the end of the cycle of birth and death samsara. It entails the eradication of the root causes of suffering, namely craving tanha and ignorance avijja, and the realization of the true nature of reality. The realization of Nibbana brings an end to the cycle of rebirths and the experience of suffering, leading to lasting peace, happiness, and liberation from the round of existence. Nibbana Saccariya involves the direct realization or experience of Nibbana through spiritual practice and insight. It is not merely intellectual understanding or belief, but a profound experiential realization of the nature of reality. The process of realization of Nibbana typically involves the cultivation of wisdom panya, virtue sila, and concentration samadhi through practices such as mindfulness meditation, contemplation, and ethical conduct. As practitioners deepen their understanding and purification of mind, they gradually develop the insight and clarity needed to realize Nibbana. The realization of Nibbana is often described in terms of stages or levels of awakening Bodhi. These stages may include the initial glimpses or insights into the nature of reality stream entry, the deepening of insight and purification of mind once returning and non-returning, and the complete eradication of defilements, and attainment of full enlightenment arahantship. Each stage of realization represents a progressive deepening of wisdom, liberation, and freedom from suffering. The realization of Nibbana has a transformative impact on the practitioner, leading to profound changes in perspective, values, and behavior. It brings an end to the cycle of craving and clinging, and the experience of suffering and discontent. Practitioners who realize Nibbana are said to attain profound peace, equanimity, and unconditional happiness. Regardless of external circumstances, they embody the qualities of wisdom, compassion, and liberation, and serve as exemplars of the possibility of spiritual awakening and liberation for all beings. Overall, Nibbana Satchikariya represents the highest goal and realization of the Buddhist spiritual path, marking the end of suffering and the attainment of ultimate peace and liberation. By cultivating wisdom, virtue, and meditation practice, practitioners deepen their understanding of reality and progress towards the realization of Nibbana, ultimately transcending the cycle of birth and death and attaining the highest happiness and freedom. 35. Akompita Chitta, which translates to unshaken mind, is a term used in Buddhist teachings to describe a state of mental stability, resilience, and equanimity. In the face of worldly vicissitudes or disturbances, it refers to a mind that remains calm, steady, and unaffected by external events, circumstances, or conditions. Akompita Chitta embodies the quality of mental stability and equanimity, characterized by a state of inner calmness, tranquility, and balance. It involves maintaining a sense of inner peace and steadiness, regardless of the fluctuations and uncertainties of life. A mind imbued with Akompita Chitta remains undisturbed by praise or blame, success or failure, gain or loss, and experiences events with a sense of equanimity and acceptance. Akompita Chitta entails freedom from attachment and aversion to worldly phenomena, including pleasant and unpleasant experiences, situations, and outcomes. It involves cultivating a non-reactive and non-grasping attitude towards the changing conditions of life and responding to them with mindfulness, acceptance, and equanimity. By letting go of attachment to desires and aversion to discomfort, individuals cultivate inner peace and resilience in the face of life's ups and downs. Akompita Chitta is cultivated through the practice of mindfulness, sati, and present moment awareness, which involves being fully present and attentive to the unfolding of experience, without judgment or attachment. It entails observing the fluctuations of the mind and emotions with clarity and objectivity, and cultivating a sense of spaciousness and openness in awareness. Mindfulness enables individuals to maintain a balanced and non-reactive stance towards the ever-changing conditions of life, and to respond with wisdom and compassion. Akompita Chitta is supported by the cultivation of virtue sila and wisdom panya, which serve as foundations for mental stability and equanimity. Virtue involves living in alignment with ethical principles and values that promote harmony, integrity, and well-being, and contribute to the welfare of oneself and others. Wisdom involves seeing things as they are, free from distortion and delusion, and understanding the impermanent, unsatisfactory, and selfless nature of phenomena. Cultivating virtue and wisdom strengthens the mind and heart, and enables individuals to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. Akompita Chitta is not merely a state to be cultivated in meditation, but is intended to be integrated into all aspects of daily life. It involves applying mindfulness, equanimity, and wisdom in every moment and situation, whether in meditation, work, relationships, or daily activities. By integrating the practice of Auspicious chitta into daily life, individuals cultivate resilience, balance, and inner peace, and transform their relationship to the world with wisdom and compassion. Overall, Auspicious chitta represents a state of mental stability, resilience, and equanimity that arises from the cultivation of mindfulness, virtue, and wisdom. By cultivating a mind that is unshaken by worldly vicissitudes, individuals develop inner peace, resilience, and freedom from suffering, and live with greater clarity, compassion, and well-being. Auspicious chitta serves as a guiding principle for living with wisdom and equanimity in the midst of life's challenges and uncertainties. 36. Auspicious chitta, which translates to mind free from sorrow, is a concept found in Buddhist teachings that describes a state of mental well-being, contentment, and freedom from sorrow or distress. It represents a mind that is free from the afflictions of grief, sadness, and despair, and is characterized by inner peace, joy, and equanimity. Auspicious chitta entails freedom from attachment to desires and aversion to unpleasant experiences or conditions. It involves cultivating a non-reactive and non-grasping attitude towards the changing circumstances of life, and responding to them with mindfulness, acceptance, and equanimity. By letting go of attachment to desires and aversion to discomfort, individuals cultivate inner peace and contentment, and free themselves from the cycle of suffering caused by craving and aversion. Auspicious chitta is rooted in the acceptance of impermanence anicca, the fundamental characteristic of all phenomena. It involves recognizing that all experiences, whether pleasant or unpleasant, are transient and subject to change. By embracing the impermanent nature of life, individuals develop a sense of ease and acceptance towards the ups and downs of existence, and cultivate a mind that is resilient and unshaken by worldly vicissitudes. Auspicious chitta involves cultivating gratitude and appreciation for the blessings and joys present in one's life, regardless of external circumstances. It entails recognizing and savoring the simple pleasures, beauty, and goodness that abound in everyday life, and cultivating an attitude of gratitude towards oneself, others, and the world. By focusing on the positive aspects of life, individuals nourish their sense of well-being and contentment, and cultivate a mind that is free from sorrow and discontent. Auspicious chitta is supported by the practice of mindfulness sati and present moment awareness, which involves being fully present and attentive to the unfolding of experience without judgment or attachment. Mindfulness enables individuals to observe the fluctuations of the mind and emotions with clarity and objectivity, and to cultivate a sense of spaciousness and openness in awareness. By anchoring themselves in the present moment, individuals cultivate inner peace and contentment, and free themselves from the grip of past regrets and future worries. Auspicious chitta is cultivated through the cultivation of compassion, karuna, and empathy towards oneself and others. It involves recognizing the interconnectedness and interdependence of all beings, and responding to the suffering of others with kindness, empathy, and understanding. By extending compassion towards oneself and others, individuals cultivate a sense of connection, belonging, and altruism, and contribute to the welfare and happiness of all beings. Overall, Auspicious chitta represents a state of mental well-being, contentment, and freedom from sorrow that arises from the cultivation of mindfulness, acceptance, gratitude, and compassion. By cultivating a mind that is free from sorrow, individuals develop inner peace, resilience, and happiness, and live with greater clarity, compassion, and well-being. Auspicious serves as a guiding principle for living with wisdom and equanimity in the midst of life's challenges and uncertainties. 37. Virijacita, which translates to undefiled mind, is a concept in Buddhist teachings that refers to a state of mental purity, clarity, and freedom from defilements or impurities. It represents a mind that is free from the stains of greed, hatred, and delusion, and is characterized by qualities such as wisdom, compassion, and equanimity. Virijacita involves cultivating purity of intention in one's thoughts, words, and actions. It entails aligning one's intentions with the principles of virtue, sila, mindfulness sati, and compassion karuna, and acting with integrity, kindness, and generosity. By cultivating pure intentions, individuals purify their minds and hearts and cultivate inner peace, harmony, and well-being. Virijacita entails freedom from the three root defilements, or poisons of greed lobha, hatred dosa, and delusion moha. It involves recognizing the arising of defilements in the mind and skillfully applying antidotes such as mindfulness, loving kindness, and wisdom to overcome them. By purifying the mind of defilements, individuals cultivate inner purity, clarity, and freedom from suffering. Virijacita is supported by the cultivation of virtue sila, which involves living in alignment with ethical principles and values that promote harmony, integrity, and well-being. Virtue serves as a foundation for mental purity and moral integrity, and provides a basis for the cultivation of mindfulness and wisdom. By cultivating virtue, individuals purify their minds and hearts and create the conditions for the arising of wisdom and compassion. Virijacita is cultivated through the practice of mindfulness, sati, which involves being fully present and attentive to the unfolding of experience without judgment or attachment. Mindfulness enables individuals to observe the arising and passing away of thoughts, emotions, and sensations with clarity and equanimity, and to cultivate a sense of inner purity and freedom from identification with transient phenomena. By practicing mindfulness, individuals purify their minds of mental clutter and distractions and develop greater clarity, focus, and presence. Virijacita is supported by the development of wisdom panya, which involves seeing things as they are, free from distortion and delusion. Wisdom arises from direct insight into the nature of reality, including the impermanent, unsatisfactory, and selfless nature of phenomena. By cultivating wisdom, individuals purify their minds of ignorance and delusion and develop greater clarity, discernment, and understanding of the causes of suffering and the path to liberation. Overall, Virijacita represents a state of mental purity, clarity, and freedom from defilements that arises from the cultivation of virtue, mindfulness, and wisdom. By purifying their minds and hearts, individuals cultivate inner peace, harmony, and well-being, and live with greater clarity, compassion, and freedom from suffering. Virijacita serves as a guiding principle for living with wisdom and integrity in the midst of life's challenges and uncertainties. 38. Kamacita, which translates to secure mind or mind at ease, is a concept found in Buddhist teachings that describes a state of mental stability, tranquility, and inner security. It represents a mind that is free from agitation, anxiety, and insecurity, and is characterized by qualities such as confidence, contentment, and peace. Kamacita embodies the quality of inner stability and equanimity, characterized by a sense of inner peace, calmness, and tranquility. It involves maintaining a balanced and steady mind, regardless of the fluctuations and uncertainties of external circumstances. A mind imbued with kamacita remains undisturbed by praise, or blame, success or failure, gain or loss, and experiences events with a sense of equanimity and acceptance. Kamacita entails freedom from fear, anxiety, and insecurity, and the cultivation of confidence, trust, and faith in oneself and the path of practice. It involves recognizing the impermanent and uncertain nature of worldly conditions and finding a sense of security and refuge within oneself by letting go of attachment to external sources of security and validation. Individuals cultivate inner strength and resilience and face life's challenges with courage and confidence. Kamacita is supported by the cultivation of contentment, Santuthi, which involves finding satisfaction and fulfillment in the present moment, regardless of external circumstances. It entails letting go of the constant striving for more and cultivating an attitude of gratitude and appreciation for what one has. By cultivating contentment, individuals reduce the craving for external sources of happiness and security and cultivate a sense of inner peace and well-being. Kamacita is cultivated through the practice of mindfulness, sati, and present moment awareness, which involves being fully present and attentive to the unfolding of experience without judgment or attachment. Mindfulness enables individuals to observe the fluctuations of the mind and emotions with clarity and objectivity, and to cultivate a sense of spaciousness and openness in awareness. By anchoring themselves in the present moment, individuals cultivate inner peace and security and develop greater resilience and stability in the face of life's challenges. Kamacita is supported by the development of virtue sila and wisdom punya, which serve as foundations for mental stability and inner security. Virtue involves living in alignment with ethical principles and values that promote harmony, integrity, and well-being, and contribute to the welfare of oneself and others. Wisdom involves seeing things as they are, free from distortion and delusion, and understanding the impermanent, unsatisfactory, and selfless nature of phenomena. By cultivating virtue and wisdom, individuals cultivate inner security and peace, and develop greater clarity, discernment, and understanding of the causes of suffering and the path to liberation. Overall, Kamacita represents a state of mental security, tranquility, and inner peace that arises from the cultivation of mindfulness, contentment, virtue, and wisdom. By cultivating a mind that is secure and at ease, individuals develop inner strength, resilience, and happiness, and live with greater clarity, compassion, and well-being. Kamacita serves as a guiding principle for living with wisdom and equanimity in the midst of life's challenges and uncertainties. The highest blessing in Buddhism is often considered to be the attainment of enlightenment or nirvana. This ultimate state of awakening is characterized by complete liberation from the cycle of samsara and the cessation of suffering. Attaining enlightenment is considered the culmination of all blessings and the highest goal of Buddhist practice. In summary, Mangala encompasses a wide range of blessings and auspicious qualities that lead to happiness, well-being, and spiritual progress in Buddhism. These blessings are cultivated through virtuous conduct, spiritual practice, and the development of wisdom, ultimately leading to the highest blessing of enlightenment and liberation from suffering.